Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
'Tis the season to talk money. 855-935-8255. Yeah, there's a new version of A Christmas Carol. Actually, it's always the time to talk money, which is why that's what we do pretty much every Saturday here on Como Radio and almost every day on our podcast. So, join in. Join in the carol. Just call 855-935-8255. That didn't work really well with that song, did it? But we do have lines open on Saturdays for you. This is the time to call live. We. I'm so used to saying we. It's just me today at 855-935-TALK. After listening to the weather forecast, because you guys know I'm in Florida, right? I'm not up there for that miserable weather. Well, Tom escaped just in time, too. He did not think he was going to be able to join his family in Mexico for a brief vacation, but things worked out. He was able to hop on a plane, so he's there. And I told him not to take his tie line, to just play. And although I guarantee he's probably listening to the show over the internet right now, because he's a masochist. Hi, everybody. I'm Don McDonald. This is Talking Real Money. I am really thrilled that you are right there. And today we want to talk about money. And we want to talk about the things that are impacting your money today, the things that you need to do to avoid some of those impacts, and how you can keep your head on straight when all around you seem to be spinning out of control or actually even falling off. I mean, what is it with people these days? Their heads seem to be falling off in strange places, particularly when it comes to money and investing. If you don't listen to the podcast, you should listen to yesterday's question and answer podcast. I do a Q&A podcast every Friday. And man, I got a great call from a woman who was fighting with her relatives at Thanksgiving over crypto. People's heads, they're just spinning off. However, one guy who I've read, not because I like his advice, but because I disliked it so much, was a guy who writes for Seeking Alpha by the name of Jussi Ascola. And for years, Jussi has been a big proponent of real estate. He writes things on real estate. He has a real estate timing service advisor. It's the real estate game. You guys know it. It's the topic of half the investing podcasts out there. It's all about real estate, buying real estate, flipping real estate, leveraging yourself to the hilt with real estate until the day when it gets in trouble and then you lose it all, which is what happened in 2008. Well, listen to this. This is a big headline for Jussi. The first line of this story in Seeking Alpha says, "I used to invest in rental properties. But as I learned more about REITs, I came to the realization that they were superior investments in most cases." He saw the light. Well, he saw some of the light. He didn't see all the light, because if he wants to take this to its ultimate conclusion, his answer would be buy a real estate investment trust index, like the Vanguard Real Estate, the REIT ETF or the REIT fund or something like that. But no. He talks about individual REITs, storage REITs, apartment REITs, all these kinds of REITs, farmland REITs, timberland REITs, hotel REITs, senior housing REITs. He gives you all these things, which again requires you to you need an expert now to tell you which one to be in. And the reality is, nobody knows which one to be in. You know which one you should have been in. And actually, over the past year, you probably should have been in a lot of those, except maybe hotel, because real estate had a great year. overall, real estate has done quite well. But quite possibly, no, not quite possibly, definitely, the best way to play it is through a diversified real estate index fund. And I lost my symbol. I had it up on my screen. The real estate ETF at Vanguard is probably going to be one of your best bets. The symbol's VNQ. And instead of just betting on one segment of the real estate economy, this thing owns all kinds of REITs within it. You've got your cell tower REITs and your storage REITs and your mall REITs and all kinds of REITs. Your commercial real estate. And so what you end up with instead of a REIT is a portfolio of 170 different real estate investment trusts. It's nice. It's diversified. It means you don't really have to worry about one doing better than the other. But it also means that Mr. Escola and his gang might be put out of business. That would be bad for them, not for you.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com. Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hey, hi, welcome to our little get-together. I'm Don McDonald. Tom is taking a vacation? Yeah, I know. Don, on the other hand, pretty much never takes vacations. I love you that much. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. And Frank starts things off. Hi, Frank. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hey, Frank. Hey, Don.
You be Frank. I'll be Don today.
Be part of All right.
All
well,
right.
We're both going to be Frank.
Okay,
Frank,
I don't
talk
care.
about financial
Oh,
advice.
I am. You're right. Good dad joke. Okay, I will be frank with you, Frank.
Right. It's a dad question. My youngest child just turned 14, and I'm considering opening a 529 for her. It's a little late. Can't invest too aggressively,
Nope.
I'm thinking.
Nope.
I live in Minnesota, and as I understand it, if I put in about $500 this year, I'll get $300 tax credit. And in the coming years, I'm not going to, put thousands of dollars in, maybe a couple thousand a year. So I'm not sure if that's a good idea at this point.
Well, no, of course it's a good idea. I mean, really, it's a good idea because it just forces you to save. And I don't know Minnesota's plan, but I'm looking at it right now to see what it looks like. But these days, they're becoming very, very competitive. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
Minnesota Saves is a good plan.
Mm-hmm. The alternative would be, I talked to you a little while back, and you and Tom said that my wife and I are both 55. You had said our retirement future looks good, looks solid. We are not fully funding our IRAs, so I could just put the money in those, and then invest that more aggressively with longer time horizon. So I'm just kind of wondering here to December, got to do this before the end of the year. So
well, I mean, of course, the option that is going to be more aggressive and gives you the potential to make more money and totally tax-free if you're using the Roth is probably the superior option. If there are other funding sources for the 14-year-old's college in 4 years.
Yeah, I think between grants, loans, cash flow, her working too, because you got to have skin in the game.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I wanted my kids to have some skin in the game too. I've always believed that the number one thing we need to be a little bit selfish, because your kids have time. which is something as every year we have less of. Your daughter will find a way, even if it's a state school, to get a decent education. And I'm really, unless you're going for some sort of an MBA or some sort of a PhD in economics or something, I think and Minnesota's got very good state schools, that you're going to get her a great college education one way or another. That's just going to happen if that's her choice. Some kids just don't go, and then you got that money in that 529, you got to find something else to do with it, or you're going to pay taxes when it comes out. My preference
I'm pretty sure she's on that track.
No, and odds are she is. I'm just saying that you never know. But I always lean towards saving for retirement, because that is something that we hope will absolutely happen, because the alternative means that we're not here to enjoy it, that we hope will happen, and during which, no matter how optimistic you are about your health and your abilities in the future, there will come a time when you have to live off saved money. It's just going to happen.
Right. Now, I'm not well versed in 529s. Are there fees involved?
The fees are practically non-existent anymore. They're fractions of a percent. Fractions, tiny fractions. And Minnesota's is one of the less expensive ones, which means we're in, a few basis points level.
Okay.
They're cheap.
I could go either one, and either one is a good choice.
Either one is a good choice. My preferred choice, though, I've said this for 30 years, it's saving for retirement first. That always has to be your priority, I think.
It's a great thing to do for your kids.
It is, but
financially independent in your retirement, and they won't have to support you.
Exactly. There you go. Absolutely. And the other thing you can do is that money that you might put into college for her, maybe you just mentally set it aside, and once she starts working in college, you match a chunk of that with Roth IRAs for her, so that she has a retirement too.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. All right.
Good luck. Thanks for the call,
Thanks,
Frank.
Don.
Take care, sir. Bye-bye. Hope that was frank enough. 855-935-TALK is the number, 855-935-8255. Elizabeth, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, how are you today?
I am very well. Hi, Elizabeth. What can I do for you?
Hi. Well, I have a question for you about planning for long-term disability, and I have long been interested in getting long-term disability insurance, but the issue that I have is my health is very bad, very, very bad, and it gets worse and worse every year, and I accumulate more surgeries and diagnoses, and it just, I can't string together 12 months of no major health issues to sort of qualify for that. So I've been trying to figure out alternative strategies, and here are my 3 thoughts, and let me know what you think. One thought is maybe I could find a long-term disability insurance that has low requirements and costs a huge amount of money, and I can still get into it. Option number 2, maybe I can get into a continuing care retirement community where I can buy in at the top tier and just have guaranteed care no matter what. Option number 3, figure out a way to just make tons of money and have to just pay for my own care.
Anticipation is for this to be a long way, a way down the road issue. It sounds like that more about in retirement than current. How old are you, Elizabeth?
Well, I'll be turning 50 pretty soon.
Okay, so you still have a lot of time. It's just your chronic illnesses are kind of holding you back.
Right, and I don't want my health issues to sort of bankrupt my husband and I. That's what I worry about.
Well, I got to tell you that insurance is a game. Healthy people can get inexpensive insurance. Unhealthy people, as one who's married to someone who's had chronic illnesses, it's very expensive. It really is. Hang on, let's just talk a little about the alternatives. But first, we've got to take a break. But it's a short one, so we'll be right back, Elizabeth. Stay with me. 855-935-TALK, the number.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's VESTORY.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Your money questions, not just appreciated, but encouraged, because I want to help you deal with your money. Tom and I do every week, well, all week, at 855-935-TALK. Talking with Elizabeth right now, who has some health challenges and is looking into insurance to cover. During the break, I started thinking about this. Are you talking about disability insurance or long-term care insurance?
I'm talking about long-term care insurance.
Okay.
I don't qualify for disability, and I've looked into it. I've been too sick to work for years, but my husband makes enough that I'm right in that crack where I'm not poor enough to qualify, but not rich enough to not worry about it, you know?
Well, here's the thing. How much is your family's income?
My husband does make six figures.
Good. Okay. I have a general beef with insurance. I just do, because you're playing a game with the insurance companies, and it's one you're unlikely to win. Long-term care insurance is exceedingly expensive, although if you get it at your age, it's going to be more reasonable. It's still not going to be cheap because they're going to look at your health situation.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is its benefits are very, 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 very limited in most cases. You're not going to get a whole lot out of it. And the insurance companies have made so many mistakes in the past with these policies that they've been reducing coverage and they've been increasing premiums dramatically, because the one thing they don't ever want to do is lose money. They want to always make sure they have their high margins. And so if you have to suffer, so be it. Of course, out of those three options, the best one is to save till it hurts, because then it's your money.
Right.
It's not theirs, and you don't have to rely upon them. And these care facilities that you could buy into today, there's no guarantee they're going to be there in 15, 20 years when you might need them, or 30. There's no guarantee.
I suppose that's true, although in the research I've done, you know, there are some that have been around for decades and are, you know, in different states. And, it's kind
but
of,
the
I guess,
problem
the
is,
same thing.
the problem is if something bad happens, these things can go under just like insurance companies can. Insurance companies tell you they're absolutely positively safe, but they're not. And the reality is, I think we have to have. I think we're better off if we're in control. And I also think something else helps you with this, and that is technology. The changes in home care over the next decade are going to be astonishing. And
I hope so, because we had to have home care after one of my surgeries, and it was so expensive.
Oh, I know.
Oh my goodness!
But so's in house, in a facility care. It's all expensive.
Yeah.
It's just all expensive. So the trick is to save as much as you can, to invest it as well as you can. You might want to look at some long-term care policies as an adjunct to that, but they're not going to cover everything. They're just not going to do it.
Right.
And they're going to be pricey, so you're going to have to do a whole lot of shopping around. There are no good answers. You know, I'm 65. I'm going through the same thing with our family. Is what do we do in a worst case scenario? And we've priced policies. We priced them for years, and the reality is we're going naked, and really truly hoping for the best, because I don't know what else you can do.
So you really don't recommend a CCRC, even if I maybe waited till I was closer to retirement before buying into one.
But then the price,
hopefully it would be more.
Then the price goes up. But yeah, if you wait, maybe you've saved more and you can get a better idea too. That's the other thing, is that you're going to pay less now, but the odds are you're going to make more on your assets if you keep investing than the difference in the costs. And then you also make sure you're dealing with the latest of these CCRs, because over time, too, the facilities decline, they age. If they don't keep them up, you may be going to a great one or buying into a great one today and going to a horrible one tomorrow. So I think time on your side, save until it hurts. Good luck.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Don. Tom's out. You can call me, though, anytime at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And by anytime, I do actually mean anytime. We take calls 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then we answer those that come in on either the show or a podcast in the future. So give us a call, 855-935-8255. I am going to once again upset the crypto crazies. It's my job. I feel like I'm compelled to do it. I read almost everything I can get my hands on about the financial services industry. I even read some of the crypto publications like CoinDesk. Now, with a name like CoinDesk, you know what its bias is, don't you? You just know. And their chief content officer is a guy by the name of Michael Casey. And he wrote a piece recently where he slammed an intellectual, an author and a columnist, researcher at the American Economics Liberties Project, by the name of Matt Stoller. And Matt Stoller wrote a piece entitled Cryptocurrencies, a Necessary Scam. Well, apparently this didn't sit well with the people at CoinDesk. So they kind of took him apart and in the process took apart everybody who criticizes them. He says that people who are proponents of cryptocurrency, they're the smart ones, and that it's the intellectual elite who are against them. In fact, he said the intellectual elites act as if it's okay to acknowledge those crazies in the crypto community, that while they're possibly well-meaning in their critique. You see, this is the meat of the crypto argument. Listen to this. While possibly well-meaning in their critique of the broken political economic order, are, yes, Kool-Aid drinking cultists. This was so great because it got to the meat of the argument for cryptos. The argument is not that they're great currencies. No. The argument is they don't like the current economic system and they want it replaced with one that they like better. They argue that, yeah, sure, blockchain has no inherent value, but neither do dollars or euros or pounds or yen. Well, but that's a spurious argument. That's like saying, well, let's replace one broken system with one that we don't even understand and don't know how it's going to work. And unlike the dollars and the yen and the euros that have been part of a system that has the tacit approval of the majority of the planet's population, we want to replace it with something where most people can't even agree what it's worth, and the vast majority of people who are playing with it are playing it not as a currency, but as a speculative vehicle. He asks, why do people like him and I guess me have such a blind spot to crypto? And he's right. He says on the surface, it might be because they find the money-grabbing excess of crypto gauche and annoying. Yeah, right. But it appears that somebody is proposing a solution without properly identifying the problem they're trying to solve. And how do 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 different cryptocurrencies solve that problem? This particular argument, in no way, shape, or form is about blockchain. This argument they're making is not that blockchain makes sense, because we can all agree that to some extent blockchain makes sense if you understand it. It's about all of these currencies that they've invented to solve what turns out to be, in their mind, more of a political problem. This is all about politics. 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com. Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
It's just Don today on Talking Real Money. I'm Don McDonald, 855-935-TALK. There's that phone number to call and talk about anything money-oriented. I want to just wrap up the crypto thing real quick with a final point. And this really is the main point. Despite all of these arguments about blockchain and about sovereign individuals and a broken economic system, here's the gist of it. Do you really believe that Walmart or Target or any other business for that matter is going to adopt a currency that on one day was worth $1,000? You sold someone some articles, a big television, big screen TV, for $1,000, and you put your Bitcoin equivalent. You put your $1,000 Bitcoin equivalent in the Bitcoin bank, earning next to nothing, as banks do, because you're keeping that until it's time in 3 or 4 months to buy new TVs to replenish your inventory. So you kept it in the bank. 4 months later, you go out to buy more TVs and discover that you only have $550 left. You go, what? How can I only have $550? Would you adopt a currency that could do that? Well, that is exactly what would have happened if you sold somebody something for $1,000 in March of 2021 and kept it in the bank until July of 2021. Your $1,000 was only worth about $550 in Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. No business in its right mind would do that. And why would they get involved in a currency that has incredible costs to convert into the currency that the rest of the world or the rest of your country uses? All it is right now is a dumb casino game that's making a bunch of people ridiculously rich, mainly the people who invented it or the people who push it at just the right time. It's not going to be you. Please stop. 855-935-TALK. That's our phone number. People also call in those questions, at night, on the weekends, and we still answer those on the show and the podcast, just like this one.
Hey guys, thanks. My name's Dave. I was curious if there are any REITs you may recommend, like specifically the REIT, for example, nursing homes or server farms or storage units or anything like that. I know you guys are big into diversifying, but just curious if you had any any preferences or any leads for something like that?
I absolutely do. I absolutely have the perfect answer to that. All of the above. That's all of the above. Because to pick any one of those, and we talked about this earlier in the hour, to pick any one of those or two of those implies that you actually know that one of those industries is going to do better than the others. Or that you believe that somebody else out there like us actually knows which one's going to do better. And I'm sorry, but I don't. We don't. Nobody does. Nobody. Not a soul. And so just get the Vanguard Total REIT Index, either in the form of an ETF or in their mutual fund, because it's low cost and it's massively diversified and it gets you in all of those industries. Now, let's see. We'll take another one that was called in at 855-935-TALK.
Hi, my name is Pete. I just want to say thank you for all you guys do. It's been listening to you guys for a few months now, and it's been very helpful. Anyways, I had an annuity. I took it was an old 401k. I put in an annuity. I just took it out, put it back into Fidelity. It's only about $9,000. I'm wondering, what do you suggest I invested in Fidelity? It's a traditional IRA. I have a Roth. I have a 401k, a Roth 401k. I may contribute to it, if or maybe not. It might just sit there. Just want to see or ask, what do you suggest I invested in the Fidelity? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hey, don't go to anybody who's a salesperson anymore. So apparently you didn't do that of your own volition. You did not take a qualified retirement plan, a 401k money, and put it in an annuity all by yourself. I guarantee you there was a commissioned person involved in that. And so don't do that anymore. You're smart. You're with Fidelity right now. What I would like to see you do, start from the right point, and that is find out how much risk you can take in doing this. Go to talkingrealmoney.com and take our risk quiz. It's free and easy, and there's no obligation, and nobody's going to sell you anything. Then once you get that, there's a page on the front page. There's a section that says popular show topics, and then you'll see 3 funds at 3 groups. And actually now it's 3 funds at 4 groups because we added ETFs in there too. But there we have it, Fidelity. The 3 funds we would suggest you use for your retirement plan is some combination of the Fidelity Total Stock Market Index, the Fidelity Total International Index, and the Fidelity Total Bond Index based on your risk tolerance. So about half of the equity portion in the total market index, about half in the total international index, and then the fixed income portion would go into the total bond index. And that fixed income portion could be anywhere from 0 if you're a very high risk tolerance person to 90% if you don't tolerate risk well. So the bond portion is to get you stability. Don't buy bonds thinking about how much you're going to make. That's not how they work. The bonds are for stability, and then split it up between the U.S. and the international at Fidelity. That's the way we would suggest you go. 855-935-TALK. That is our phone number, 855-935-8255. Oh, and by the way, we appreciate all the reviews you guys write at Apple Podcasts for the podcast. And I don't read the good ones on the show. I just read the bad ones. So here's a bad one that came in. We get like 1 out of 20, maybe 30, 20, probably 20. 1 out of 20 is a bad one because we do make people mad. We do. And some people just don't like us. That's okay. This one says too much fluff, not enough substance. Don't want a comedy routine to learn about finances. Well, thank you for calling us a comedy routine. Just another infomercial for their services. Well, yes, we do talk about our company, but not as much as many. Don't pay for financial advice. Do it yourself. It isn't rocket science. And that last sentence, we agree with. So we're on the same page.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
And just really quickly continuing that thought, we do believe in do-it-yourself investing. We tell people how to do it themselves all through the show. However, we have discovered that a lot of people need help. So not everybody can do it themselves. It isn't rocket science. It's more behavioral science. And if you're looking for some great information on how you can create a better retirement, how you can invest better, create more income, retire more comfortably, Medicare, Social Security, all of that, don't miss Retire Meet 2022. It's coming up in February, and you can sign up and save money on your tickets right now at retiremeet.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future, so past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap. hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit talkingrealmoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?